Today I thought I would talk about the risk involved in going after getting a patent for your invention. And the risks are pretty much financial, because obtaining a patent is not very cheap. The fees at the USPTO, for example, are not eye-watering, especially if you're a small entity. You can look at about $2,000 from start to finish in payments to the USPTO for getting a patent if you succeed at the end. So there's your first risk. All that money could be sunk into it, and at the end you may find that the examiner won't grant you the patent anyway. So in that case you've lost all that money. And the second thing is that it's actually the attorney fees that are the real killer. The hourly rate for a patent attorney is high because they are somebody who is qualified both in law and in engineering, and they charge accordingly. And secondly, writing a good patent takes time. It can easily take 40 hours to write a software patent that is of average standard, and it can take longer if your invention is complicated or in an esoteric technical area. So you could be looking at $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in attorney fees just to get to the point that your invention is submitted to the patent office. And then there's the prosecution of the patent. So now your attorney is arguing with the examiner as to why the patent should be granted. And that can be quite expensive too, because it can go through round after round after round, and each time the attorney is going to have to look at the objections that the examiner raises and come up with legal arguments or technical arguments or both as to why the examiner is wrong. So usually it'll go through at least 2 cycles. It can be 5 or 6, and for each of those you're looking at an attorney working, again, maybe anywhere between 10 and 20 hours. So as you can see, the fees mount up. Now at that point, when the examiner finally turns around and says yes, you can have the patent, you have to pay the issue fee. And then it's still not over, because even though your patent has been granted, you may find yourself in a situation where somebody tries to invalidate it. And then the fees really mount up. We're starting to talk about hundreds of thousands of dollars for the first defense, and ultimately, if it is a really big deal, it can be multi-millions in court fees in order to finally, hopefully, have a patent that has been granted, has been tested, and has stood up in court. And then that patent is probably going to be incredibly valuable. But there's a reason why patenting is described as the sport of kings, because ordinary people just don't have pockets deep enough in order to be able to do that kind of stuff. So keep the costs in mind when you're thinking about going after a patent. Is the amount of money that you may end up sinking into it really worth the gains at the end? That's it for today. Bye for now.